What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're taking the Maserati today and we're gonna do some shopping. Well, window shopping. More window licking than anything.
What's window licking?
You know, when you go shopping and you lick some windows. You never licked a good window?
I don't think that that's an actual term. I think that that's a term you just made up.
Okay, well, possibly, but essentially we're gonna go take a look at some vehicles and to kind of get an idea of what flavor of vehicle I want to choose in the next 6 months, and not so much just any vehicles, supercars specifically.
So HP and I have been together for 7 years. We started dating in 2014 and we've been living together for 6 years. And ever since HP and I got together, HP has been a huge car enthusiast. He's always loved cars, and whenever we first got together, he was driving a V6 Mustang, and then whenever we got serious, he switched to a Focus ST, and now he drives his Ford Ranger, and he always wanted to get a nice car.
So growing up, I've really been into cars, and when I had my Mustang, it was my first Mustang, and I kept it just to get me through college, and I got my ST because I found out that V8 Mustangs are pretty heavy on insurance, especially for a young teenager or a young man. So I got my ST to kind of tide me over, and it was such a fun car. But like Aubrey said, I've been holding back getting into that next big jump into like a GT500 or even something with a lot more power for a long time now.
So over the years, as HP's been tempted to pull the trigger on the GT500, we originally pushed back the purchase because it just didn't make financial sense. We weren't making enough money to justify, you know, a $40,000, $50,000 car, and one that had the insurance associated with it that the Mustang has. And then over the last couple of years, as our income has grown, we've been in a position to buy the GT500, but we made the decision to hold off in hopes that we could afford something a little bit nicer than a Mustang in the future. And it seems as though that time is quickly approaching.
So the first one up on our list is going to be Tesla, and you might be thinking to yourself, what supercar does Tesla have? I wouldn't really consider it a supercar, but a supercar performing vehicle, which is going to be their Model S Plaid. The Model S Plaid has a really nice appeal to me because, I mean, it has supercar performance. I think it's like the equivalent of almost 1,000 horsepower, and it's just really well-performing vehicle. And sometimes it's not always about sleek looks, it's about, you know, performance. But that is the downside of the Tesla for me, is that it doesn't really have those supercar qualities that you'd like to see for that type of money too, like you would a Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
I agree with HP on the Tesla. I think the bad thing about it is that it does look like every other Tesla out there, which is one of the reasons why, like, for example, I don't like Porsches, is because I think all Porsches look the same, whether you buy one that's $60,000 or $200,000, and that's the same complaint with the Tesla as well. And I know HP doesn't like the fact that it's electric.
Part of automobiles is that they make a sound, and that's the really cool part about it, and the Tesla kind of takes all that fun away from it. It just goes.
So what are your thoughts on more common brands like Mercedes? Is that in your exotic / supercar / luxury car search?
You know, yes and no. I like Mercedes, especially the AMG cars, but I feel like for the money you end up spending on a four-door sedan, it just doesn't equate to the cool factor that I'm looking for. Honorable mention at best. Up next is going to be Ferrari, and conveniently a Maserati dealership too.
How convenient.
You want to get a $4,000 service?
No, I think I'm just gonna have my my live-in mechanic do it for about $150.
Let's go take a look at some Ferraris. It's like looking in a mirror. I think they did a good job refining it.
Man, I love this color though, and the carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's the same exact car since 2013. Oh.
I think this one might be a little
bit too expensive. I think I can afford the mag. And this is another disappointing thing. I mean, we're in a Quattroporte, and same exact switch as every other Dodge Chrysler Jeep vehicle. I mean, they did enough to kind of jazz it up with newer seats and stuff like that, but Is it worth $110,000? I'd rather drive my $29,000 one.
So HP, what is your thoughts on Ferrari / Maserati? Would you ever consider a Maserati for your first supercar?
I'm a little hot and bothered right now, but this is a cool freaking car. There's a bunch of cool cars. I'd consider it, but the downside, it's almost too nice.
Ferrari?
Yeah. And our next stop is gonna be the McDonald's to get a lunch.
To get the McPlant, which some would argue is more exclusive than a supercar.
I won't even say an exotic.
An exotic
burger.
of the burger categories.
And the last manufacturer we're gonna take a look at is Lamborghini. I really like the color. Wasn't it you that said if it's yellow, it's got to be a Lamborghini, if it's red, it's got to be Ferrari?
Yeah.
I agree. Done with some test driving, and not gonna lie, pretty impressed.
What's up next, HP?
Well, we're looking for Aston Martin, and then maybe even McLaren since we're here.
A few minutes later.
Well, that was a bust.
Big bust.
So now we are heading to our last stop of the day, which is, interestingly enough, a dealership that is like 5 minutes from our house that just so happens to have an Aston Martin there. Because we don't want to end the day without looking at an Aston Martin, because the Aston Martin dealership we were just at had like nothing, and the ones that they did have, they were like so unwelcoming to show it to us.
Yeah. And sometimes, especially us being a little younger, we get profiled, and it happens more often than not, especially at places like this, but it happens.
Do you think it has anything to do with your Ford fanny pack that you're wearing?
It's a possibility. I wouldn't say it's the only reason.
But it's probably a contributing factor.
Maybe.
This dealership we're about to go to, I feel like has and I think you're the one that told me this, HP, they have a notorious reputation of selling salvaged cars. And so I'm curious to know if this Aston Martin is going to be salvaged, but either way, it'll still give us an idea of what an Aston Martin feels like, because I've never been in an Aston Martin.
I've been in a couple, and I've never had a bad experience with one, but Aston Martins are notorious for being leaky cars.
HP, what do you think about this one?
I like this color. It's funny, we were actually looking at this car like months ago because it had lime green exterior and it has blue interior. I really like it. Oh, I really like this car. I mean,
Longer than a few minutes later.
yeah!
What were your thoughts?
A lot of car for that price. That is a sharp car. Definitely swinging me a different direction. Yeah. Excuse me. So today we looked at a variety of vehicles. The Tesla Model S Plaid. We took a look at McLaren, the 570s. We took a look at Ferraris, just really Ferrari in general, and somehow Maserati on top of that. And we even looked at a
Aston Martin.
yeah.
Lamborghini.
We did
Rolls Royce.
Yeah, my brain is fried right now. We took a look at a lot of vehicles. Yep.
So the goal is to get our first supercar in the next 6 months or so. So that would put us like right around spring of 2022. The kind of date that I have in the back of my mind is end of Q1, beginning of Q2. So really that March, April time frame.
So now over the next couple of months, I'm gonna start doing a lot of research, and I'm gonna start narrowing down exactly which supercar I want next.
Which supercar do you currently have?
Ford Ranger.
So this is going to be the first of many videos on this topic. It's sort of going to be like a mini series within this channel, the process of HP buying his first supercar. So we'll be talking about which cars we're looking at, why HP is making the decisions he's making, and of course, whether this supercar is going to be listed out on Turo. So if this is something that is of any interest to you, then make sure to stay tuned.
And be sure in the comments below, let me know what you think a car that I should be looking at if I'm looking in the realm of supercars, or even let me know an opinion on some of the manufacturers that we went and visited today and what your opinion is of that. Guys, as always, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next episode.